come so much to Daystar University. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. The second department is led by CPA Phyllis Mutua, Chief Manager Finance. That's the Finance Department.
Good morning, parents and students. Thank you for choosing to come to Daystar. We really do appreciate you. And thank you, the leadership of Daystar, for allowing us to tell the parents what we really do. In Finance Department, we do our presence in the 2 campuses, and you can get similar and same services in both campuses. So do not worry if you are more in Nairobi. You come to Nairobi, you have an office for finance, and you'll be helped. If you're around this area, come to Earth River, and you'll be sorted the same. What we do for the parents and for the students, we expect the parents to make their payments, fee payment, through direct deposits to our co-op bank and transfers to our co-op bank. We also have an M-Pesa payment, which the parents are allowed, and that is, the pay bill number is 209800, and the account number is the student admission number. That is very key for the parents as you are paying your school fees. The next thing we ensure is the student financial clearance, which is now what we call registration. You can have a student in Daystar and is seated in classes and they are not registered. What is required for that is payment of fee is full for the first semester student by parents. And so we expect you to pay your fee in full. Later, if you have struggled with fee payment, we have installments. And so our installment plan has 3 installments. The first installment is 50%, the second installment is 25%, and the third installment is 25%. But for this particular semester, when you are beginning, we require the parents to pay in full. Number 3 is about the student billing. We don't bill students, they bill themselves. And so once you pay, the student can now select their courses and bill themselves and give an invoice that says this is how much we are supposed to be paying. And there are critical deadlines. I really wanted the parents to live here knowing every semester. When the semester begins like today, you are given this week and the following week to make sure your payments are made. After that, the student begins to be deregistered for that particular semester. So ensure within the first 2 weeks of student coming back, fee is paid and the student is registered. The other thing we deal with is financial aid, student financial aid. And this is for Kenyan students, undergraduate, you are allowed to get the help loans from the government. We are allowed in the university to have that. So ensure if by any chance, if your child is, you are struggling to finance them, to ask them to help you finance their education through the help loans. We also in Daystar give scholarships, but this begins in the second year of the student being in Daystar. And the Daystar scholarships, we have formats that we do, and that I don't think is for you, it's for the student. But the students are allowed to do that. And our scholarships have an element that is of mentorship that is called work study. When we give any scholarship from this university, the student is expected to do work study, and it is a mentorship program from Daystar because we believe work is worship unto God. And so students must understand the reason why this education is very important. Lastly, to our students, in Daystar we do not just give education, because education anybody can give. But we recognize that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of all knowledge. And so it is expected our students will acquire their knowledge because they fear the Lord and they have done what is expected. However, in the same, it is said, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. And so our students, it's an expectation, whether you're here for 2 years, for 4 years, that this will be your guiding factor, that fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Parents, welcome to Daystar. Students, welcome to Daystar. I'm also a Daystar alumni in 2 programs, and I can repeat what my DVC said, that what you heard about quality is reality. God bless you and welcome.
Thank you, CPA Phyllis Mutua. The other department is Human Resource Department, led by Chief Manager HR, Mr. Pius Muya.
Thank you so much, Professor Ashira. Good morning, parents and students. Thank you so much, and welcome to Daystar University. Prof, allow me just to mention 2 or 3 things because of time. I know on Wednesday we'll have the students, but I want to say that Human Resources Department has a presence both here and also in Nairobi campus. And so if you have any need, especially our main area with you is the area of medical cover for our students, you can see our officer in Nairobi or here in the river. But let me say also that Human Resources Department is also the one entrusted with the responsibility to ensure that we don't only have the right numbers of both faculty and the staff, but we also have the right quality of that, because they are the ones who are able to dispense the knowledge and work with our students through their life or their academic life at Daystar University. The medical cover is mandatory to all our students except the evening students and the postgraduate students, and also students who have their own personal medical cover. Let me say that if you have a personal cover, kindly ensure that you get us a letter. I'm sure you got some documentation giving all the details. Ensure that you give us a letter from the insurance or from your employer, giving us the details of the medical cover which you have, especially for medical cover, both inpatient and outpatient. And ensure we have that letter both in Nairobi and or here in the river. That should be done within 1 month. Something I want to mention, please underline and take note. The medical cover which we have for our students here is quite elaborate, with inpatient of 1 million and other benefits. However, if you have given the letter of exemption to us, please advise your students, the students are also here, not to activate the AR form for the medical cover. Because immediately you activate that form, then you are signing that you'll be paying for that cover. So if you have an exemption, please don't, or let the student not activate that form. So thank you so much, and welcome to Daystar.
Thank you, Mr. Muya. ICT Department, led by Mr. Solomon Boro.
Thank you. I'd want to just say one thing for the parents. As a department, we provide the Wi-Fi, and we have, you must have received this. Kindly make sure that if you want your child to take advantage of the free Wi-Fi, you have bought for them a laptop. Thank you.
And thank you, Mr. Boro. University Services Department, the Dean of Students said his department takes care of students. There's another department that takes care of students called University Services Department. So we work together with all other departments of the university. Ms. Caroline Mwangi, the manager, University Services Department.
Okay, thank you, DVC. My name is Caroline Mwangi. As you have heard, I head the Department of Services, and I do know that the department is quite heavy. Kindly allow me to introduce the staff, because those are the face, when you go to hostel, that the face you will find, and therefore you're able to know them. I'll start with hostels. Mosera, kindly stand up. And Susan. In Daystar, we don't mix boys and girls. Hostels for girls will be managed by Susan. I know she was somewhere.
Susan is behind you.
Right here. And that is Mosera. Those two will assist you in booking students here. This is where we have the hostels mostly. Nairobi, we'll talk about that because I know most of them are day scholars. Kindly note that, have a seat. The department also has an assistant. That is Boaz Bichage, because we have a presence in Nairobi and here. So if you do go to Nairobi, the person, the face that you find mostly, it's Boaz Bichage, and you can access all the other services I'll be speaking about. Let me move to catering. And I hope you have enjoyed our refreshment this morning. They were produced from our kitchen and is headed by Gloria and the senior chef who is Maina. They do that and students are able to enjoy the meals. We encourage that especially first years, please pay for them. We understand that each generation sometimes some have not cooked and therefore exposing them to gas at the beginning when they are not able how to cook. We want them to settle. Please pay for them full board so that the first semester they settle. Thank you very much. We have transport, headed by Patrick. I'll take both because he handles transport and security. That is Patrick Dalizu. That's the face. You'll see if there's a matter about security and any matter about transport. I do know that the department will have a day when we can take the student through all the nitty-gritties. That is why I'm trying to rush because of time. But I will have time with them to just sit and explain the details of the transport, the catering, all these things. I'll move to maintenance. Maintenance is what we talk about, like lighting, water, repair if something broke here. And that is handled by Kihara. I don't know whether he's around. Anthony, okay. And Kyoko. I don't know whether Kyoko is also here. The other one is event management and cleaning. And some of these services are outsourced, but we have a face that handles that, and that is Samuel, Awor, and Sospita. I don't know that Sospita is also here, but basically those are the people you will see. Thank you very much. I think for us, in short, it's just saying that we are the department that offers, to ensure that the environment is clean and conducive for learning and even working. So we are happy that you've chosen to bring students to Daystar. Karibuni sana. Asante.
Thank you, Ms. Caroline Mwangi. Now, to conclude our division, I want to ask Dr. Leah Komen. Dr. Leah Komen is Alumni Service, Coordinator Alumni Services, which is also under our division.
Thank you, Professor Muturi. Parents and students, good morning. What we do is to make sure that what has begun today continues, because we have just started a long-term friendship. When our students come to class, we have started a relationship that we hope will continue even after they are done. So normally when we think about alumni, we think about people who have gotten a degree from the university. But really, it goes beyond those who have gotten a degree. We have the parents who are you here today, who are actually in full support for the acquisition of that degree. So that makes you a friend and a partner. So we ensure that this relationship goes further than just seeing your students or your children go through program, but that these children are also no ordinary students. Actually, I tend to think that people who come to Daystar are not ordinary, because at the end of the day, they have the Lord Jesus in their hearts, but at the same time, they are influencers. Some of the students who are joining us today are running big-time philanthropies. They are running, internship. There are people who are mentoring. The parents are here. And at some point, when you have done something very important to the society, institutions do recognize and give people honorary degrees. And those could just come from you. So we are just saying we have started a relationship and we hope to grow it together. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Komen. Let me introduce a few departments that report directly to the VC. Quality assurance, headed by Dr. Sylvia Tricon, the Director, Quality Assurance.
Good morning. Welcome to Daystar. We are glad to have you. The Directorate of Quality Assurance is very keen to ensure that what everyone else has said is actually being done, so that we are in line with the regulatory bodies that ensure that universities offer quality learning or quality degrees, or we have graduates who can work well in the market. So we check on our programs to ensure that the teaching and learning process is actually very good. And I can assure you that we actually do that. We get information from the students through course evaluations, and they tell us what is happening in the classes. If there's something that is not right, then we take the results or the findings that we get, and we improve on that. We also work on development of faculty to ensure that all the things that we are saying is actually implemented. But we don't end there. All our programs are actually accredited. Each and every of the programs that are supposed to, the undergraduate and postgraduate degrees are all accredited by the commission. And for those that need, then the professional bodies also accredit them. So we are keen on quality. We are keen on being in line with all regulations, and that's why we have a Directorate of Quality Assurance. And at the same time, we don't end there. We also follow our graduates to the industry to trace them to find out where are they at, how are they performing. And we also talk to employers, so through tracer studies, so that we are actually able to find out, our programs really okay? Is there something we need to improve? And then come back and implement the things that we have gotten from the industry. We also find out about the satisfaction of students who are exiting through graduate exit satisfaction surveys. They tell us about what Caro and everybody else was talking about. Are the students happy? Is there something that is not right? Where there are areas of improvement, we will also come and tell them so that we work on this. So in short, what we are saying is that we are very, very keen on quality. And you can hear various directorates, various divisions mentioning the word quality. It is because we take it very seriously. We work with Mr. Anthony Wambua. I don't know whether he's here. We are two in the directorate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Tuikong. Chaplaincy Department, led by Reverend Stephen Duto.
The chaplaincy is in charge of all the spiritual nurture programs. You know, Daystar University is a Christian university. That is the understanding as you join. And therefore, we are in charge of all the spiritual nurture programs. We have 3 main spiritual nurture programs for the entire university community. And that is chapels, weekly chapels. And then we have weekly Bible study groups. And we have University Prayer Day. Those 3, the entire university community comes together to participate and partner in those 3. But then we have what we call student-led ministries in both campuses. In Nairobi campus, we have about 17 student-led ministries. And in Athi River, we have about 29 student-led ministries, where students join according to their giftedness, or as the Lord leads them in serving. In Nairobi campus, we have assistant chaplain there called Rachel Ngugi. I know she's not here now. And then we have a campus pastoral assistant there called Felix Sirimoy Simoto. He's also not here today. And we have a student body that is in charge of the Christian Fellowship. We call it a DCF. That is Daystar Christian Fellowship. In Nairobi campus, we have the chair, Ian Nondi, and I know he's not here today. In Athi River, we have campus pastoral assistant, Tabitha. Please stand. She's here with us here today. Thank you. That is Tabitha. And we have the chair of the Christian Fellowship in Athi River campus, James Mbui. I know he's somewhere around here. He's here with us. Yeah, somewhere right behind there. Therefore, we invite you to join us in Daystar University and also participate actively in all our spiritual nurture programs. God bless you.
Thank you, thank you. We have a legal department. Mrs. Mweni Nyokavi Kahumbura is not in, but represented here by Mr. Telvin Abani.
Good morning. Welcome to Daystar. My name is Ambani Telvin. The Legal Services Department is here to ensure legal and statutory compliance. And so we have an aim of ensuring best practices in corporate governance. Asanteni, and receive warm greetings from Madam Nyokabi.
Thank you, Mr. Ambani. Then Corporate Affairs Department, I know you have interacted a lot with this department, led by Mrs. Damaris Kimiru.
Good morning, parents, once again, and our new students. Welcome to Daystar University. The Corporate Affairs Department is the communication department of the university, and we ensure that all our stakeholders are getting information almost real time. The first place now is our online presence. If you go to our homepage, you'll be able to interact real time on our live chat. Any question you have, someone is waiting to respond to you. We have the marketing section within the department led by Alex Mutuku, who is on leave. And in the absence of Alex, I know all of you have interacted with Sosnes Olindo, and he is at Nairobi campus continuing to support you and those that are applying. Also Helen Ogodo on our customer care desk, and our switchboard with Lillian Akinyi, whom I know many of us have interacted with. Ms. Jean Murungi at the back is ensuring that we are as hospitable as we can. We grabbed a cup of tea this morning. Thank you, Jean, for taking care of everyone. She heads our public relations section, making sure that we are relating well with everyone and also communicating. I'm sure we all got a text message, and behind that text message was a bit.ly link that then lands you on the university website, where you have a lot more information regarding this week. Keep interacting. Don't just read the text message. Kindly go beyond that link, and you will get much more information. This event is supported by our live media team, the live stream team, and they are students that work with us, ensuring that information is reaching everyone beyond the walls of the university. We also have a social media team, which is also making sure that we are engaged on all our platforms. And finally, and not least, Afrizo, our experiential marketing team led by Helen Mutawali, and keeping us entertained and alive during this live event. Make sure that you visit. If you do not sign up, parents, you visit our registration desk. Leave your contacts there, because we will continue to communicate with you regarding your children that you are leaving behind. And once again, just want to say karibuni sana, and let us stay engaged. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, thank you. Now, all these departments, directorates, schools, have admin staff, what we call administrators. And these are very key people, and these are the people you'll be interacting with. I'm not very sure whether we have our administrators here or they are in their schools. Do you have any? Is there anybody we have not introduced? Okay, thank you very much. Now, we have come to the end of the introductions. Our next session is to listen to our VC. And I want to ask you to put your hearts together and welcome our VC, Professor Laban Airo, to address us.
Parents and the new students, let's stand for a minute. Let us stretch. We've been sitting for long. And I know how it feels when you go for a function, what is called a routine function, and then it keeps on dragging and dragging, and some of us get a little impatient. But I just want to emphasize that one of the largest or the greatest legacies a person can leave is a moral ecology, a system of belief and behavior that determines an institution. A moral ecology. Otherwise, if you take a child to a university and you dump them there, what happens thereafter, you have no idea. So please bear with us, because moral ecologies certainly guide how your students will dress, how they will talk, what they will admire and disdain, and how they will define their ultimate purpose. So I want parents to bear with us, and the students joining us to really take in all these important messages that are being passed on to you. So it has been mentioned that we are a Christ-centered institution, and I want you to join me in this song as we stand to stretch and increase the circulation, because I'm going to take a little long for reasons that we want to get certain things across. Grace on the upward way. And I'm also with jet lag. I just came in. I've been away for 6 weeks in the US, fundraising scholarships for the needy students in this university and also other programs. So let's sing together. Ready? Yeah.
I'm pressing on the upward way.
Let's start. Arise and fierce dismay, though some may dwell where these are bound. My prayer, my aim is higher. Lord, lift me up and let me stand. Thy faithful heaven stable down. A higher plane that I have found. Lord, plant my feet on higher. To scale the utmost height and catch a gleam of glory bright, but still I reign till heaven I found. Lord, turn me on to higher ground. Lord, lift me up and let me stand by faith on heaven stable land, a higher plane that I have found. Lord, plant my feet on higher ground. Thank you very much. You may be seated. Our new parents and the students, let me retaliate what my colleagues have said, that it is a privilege for you to have chosen Daystar and that we don't take it for granted. 3 years ago, when I joined Daystar, I had a singular purpose to make this university different. I'd just come from Moi University, a public university of over 38,000 as the acting vice chancellor. And so when God gave me this privilege to serve this university, I was very determined to live up on a higher purpose, to make this university different. So whereas we thank you for bringing your children, I want to retaliate that we are determined to give them our best. And please trust us. I want to recognize somebody very important to us, and that is Professor Dawn Smith, and the wife, Faye Smith, in absentia. She is not well. And in fact, in my constant communication with Dawn Smith when I was in the US, our line of concern was always, how is Faye doing? So you've been told he's our founder, and sometimes we can be, not deliberately, we can be very casual in introductions, and then we lose the meaning. Because having been Daystar for 3 years and getting into the genealogy of this university, I know what being a founder meant. As I've traversed 7 states in the US, doing some of the states doing 4, 5, 6 hours by air, and talking to people about Daystar so that they can be convinced to support us. And then I imagine a missionary and his wife coming all the way from South Africa, Zimbabwe, and then in Kenya, and being true to the mission of serving the kingdom is something we should never take lightly. And so, Dawn Smith, I just want you to greet the crowd, and as we say from Western, where I come from, spit saliva on them, and then I'll carry on. Please stand. I wish you were here, but you can just address us from there. Yeah, somebody support him. Bernard, thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Oyero. I feel a bit like a great-grandfather who has had so many children and grandchildren that I can't remember the names of all of them. And as I see so many departments, so many capable people, and then I remember what it has happened. We first landed in Africa in 1952, and then we were first serving in Zululand, then Johannesburg, then Zimbabwe, and now we have the privilege of living in Kenya. This is our only home. I would share many things, but through those years, I remember the song that Faye and I used to sing together in various churches as we were preparing to come to Africa. Some through the fire, some through the flood, but all through the blood. We have sought to honor Jesus and to introduce Jesus to many people in many cultures, in many parts of Africa, of Asia, and Europe. We have been there in order to introduce all of them to the emergence of Daystar. It's been a long journey, and yet we have had the privilege of planting many seeds. And then I see the growth of those seeds. And you parents are taking advantage of the growth of those seeds. We are thankful. I'd like to introduce to you 2 books, however. One of them is written by my wife, Daystar Rising. It tells the personal story of how Daystar came into being. It has been documented carefully, thoroughly, and my wife finished writing this in, I think, sorry, I'm going backwards too far, in the year 2017. She is not able to be here, and I regret that. But if you would like to get the personal story and know the background of Daystar, it is available. There will be a table where Grace Mbogo is sitting, and these copies are not available here, but we have them at our office and home, which is on campus. The price of that is 1,000 shillings. If you give your name, address, and so on, and to Ms. Mbogo, that would help. This book is one that I wrote. This is the second edition. I appreciate the words that Helen Maleche, one faculty member, reviewed this book, and she said, this is about Daystar. It's the essence of the who and the why of Daystar. We hope that many students that are required to take the INS course would get their own copies of this book, because to our surprise, we've discovered that alums find this book more useful after they left the university. As students, they didn't realize the value of it. I'm surprised at the number of alums who have said, this book made my career, whether it's in ministry, a profession, or working elsewhere. And we would encourage you, parents, if you can, get this book. You can read it, but give it to your student, son or daughter, because it will be of more value to them now and even afterwards when they have graduated. This sells in the US for 5,000 shillings equivalent. It's available here for 2,000. We give it a sharp discount as possible. We are thankful that God has given increase, major increase. We're thankful for what Daystar has and is becoming. Thank you for having a part in it. May God bless you, prosper you, and give you the same kind of increase in His service that we are enjoying to see through Daystar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Don Smith, and pass our regards to Faye, and I'll be finding time to come and sit with the family. I would like, my thoughts will not be a speech, I'll be very brief, but I would like to recognize the entire management team that sits with me, works with me. I know they have introduced themselves, but there is a reason. I am putting them on the platform of accountability. So starting with the DVCs, please kindly stand up so that you can all be seen. Management of Daystar. Management of Daystar. So up here, Professor Michael Bowen is the principal Nairobi campus. I don't work from Nairobi campus. And I'm going to make it very clear. Anybody wanting to work with the VC, they must come to main campus. But I'll visit Nairobi campus because there is a principal when I need to be in Nairobi campus. So Michael, thank you for what you're doing. Professor Faith Nguru is in charge of academics, research, and student affairs. A very tough portfolio, particularly the last aspect of student affairs. I thank you for what you're doing. Professor David Muturi Wachira is our Deputy Vice Chancellor, Finance, Administration and Planning. And for us in Daystar, these are not just titles. So please save your energy in trying to get the VC to sort out a financial issue, to sort out an academic issue. I can only add my voice to their voices. So I've given everybody the latitude to be able to do their duties. My chaplain, please stand. Chaplaincy is very critical, and we must emphasize this, that the moral ecology of this university hinges on the functions of the chaplaincy. And it's very interesting today. I visited several universities in the US, and it's very interesting that if you go to a university in the US that has Muslim students, they are the most controlled, contained, focused students in any given university. Ask yourself why. Because they have submitted themselves to the teachings of their holy books. In Daystar, we are fighting to overcome the drift. And that's why the chaplaincy is very important. And Chaplaincy Stephen, thank you so much for the prayers. God has answered us in many, many ways, but that is not for today. Asante sana. You can sit. Professor Prof Boyle, welcome. When did you come back? Okay, while I was away. Okay. Welcome. Bernard is one of our pillars. He's Director Resource Mobilization. We are reconfiguring that directorate, but he remains a king pillar in the workings of Daystar management level. I thank you. Because when I came in, you are the DVC academic. You saw to my inauguration, you saw to the graduation ceremony. I don't forget such things. There is the legal manager. She's not here. She's away in the US, but she's coming. But Ambani is standing in very well, and we are proud and respect the legal department. Thank you. I'm trying to see who is that dark person in that corner. Yes. I know. Paul, a great friend, is the registrar of the university. He's the one who harvests all these students to come. Paul, I greatly appreciate. And we happen to have met at Texas A&M, him doing his PhD as I was doing my postdoc studies. But that has never been an influence on how I relate to Paul. He's a registrar, and there are certain expectations, and I'm thankful. Pius Muya is our chief manager, human resource. Those issues are very delicate. Parents, Daystar is becoming stable because of all these people who are managing these things. And Muya, thank you very much. Phyllis Mutua, CPA, is our finance manager. Welcome back. When did you come back? Today. Okay, welcome back. Nobody likes finance people. I've never liked them. Even when I was Basai at Sunshine School in Nairobi as the principal, we always had fights with the Basai because I kept on wanting things done. And they would tell me, no, there's no money. We've got to contain. And Phyllis, sometimes I don't appreciate what you do. But just know quietly in my heart of hearts, I sleep pretty because you are in charge of finances. Thank you very much. I would like my cup bearers, those of you who have read the Old Testament, Daniel, the following to stand. My executive personal assistant, Mary, please stand, and you should never be sitting that far. You are my cup bearer. Have you tasted this tea I took? What a wonderful privilege to work with Mary, and she makes me happy and takes charge of the office. If you want me, if you want an appointment, Mary is the executive PA. Grace Mbogo is protocol. She's here, and she's in charge of research. I have never stopped doing research, writing books, publishing, collaborations with other universities. She's so crowded. And that's why, Grace, I think Daystar owes you a scholarship to go for your PhD. People don't know how much you are doing for this university. I can hear claps, huh? Okay, thank you very much, Grace. I appreciate. And then, where's Guteta? Have I seen her, Guteta? Yeah, Guteta takes charge of the office here. Mary is everywhere, but Guteta is the one stationed at main campus. I thank you for your maturity. There are many times you have walked to my office and said, you know, you are the father of this institution, so please lower your temper and forgive that student or forgive that staff, or I want to pray for you. That's who she is to me, a very, very valuable person. Finally, another cupbearer of mine is Coretta Ndunda. Where's Coretta? Yeah. Coretta, thank you so much for what you're doing. If you're seeing Daystar turning blue, the roofs, that's just one project. She's in charge of programs in resource mobilization. I thank you so much. Sometimes you are too abrasive, but what can I do if you are delivering? Thank you very much. Finally, as I move very quickly, where's my student leaders? My student leaders, please stand up. You came into office while I was away. Can you all stand up? I know you are introduced. And come here, come up, come here. Because in Daystar, Walter Nalwa, we believe in collegial leadership. You are just as important as I am. So, nataka mpange president, deputy, secretary general, like that. Yeah. I want to introduce you to the parents. The president is Walter Nalwa. Please carry up your hand. Let's clap for them. Because these are the people these students will run to as a line of first defense. Margaret Muchoki, Deputy President. Desmond Mwine, Secretary General. I didn't know you were that tall, Desmond. Okay. Sylvia Munyao, Treasurer. Newton Ngige, Campus Governor, Nairobi. Maxwell Ndege, Campus Governor, Athi River. And Meshach Mabira, Isadu Chair, but there are people here. Who are those? Yes, please introduce yourselves. Evans Owino, you are? Oh, you are the speaker. And imagine the dean didn't give me your name. You know I wasn't here. Owino, let's clap for him. That's how the Orengos started. Eh? They start very early. And the other gentleman, everybody has been introduced. Yes? Who? Martin? Yes, you are the Congress. Thank you. Let's clap for him. I'm saying this before parents and other students. It is service before self. Nalwa, service before self. It is not about positional equity. Ours is a collegial leadership, so I will hold you accountable as I support you 100%. And let me tell the leaders that permanent moral joy seems to emerge when your desire is turned outward for others. So I want you to serve Daystar University and serve the Vice Chancellor, and I, in turn, will reciprocate. So my wish for you is that you flourish and you be a student leadership that will show a difference during your time here. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Grace, let's go to the presentations. Most of these aspects have been spoken about, so I will take a very short time. I want to emphasize our ethos, parents, and particularly the students. I've already seen students sitting so far away, and there are so many empty chairs. That is not part of our character, because you must be here to be counted. We seek for excellence, not just as a word, because excellence honors God and inspires fellow human beings. So the first years who have come in, you don't become an A student. You don't get the GPA of 3.5 and above in third year or fourth year. You start now. And when you inspire us, then we know that you are truly carrying the mission of Daystar. Let me give you an example. I went to what is called the Consortium for Christian Universities, Colleges and Universities, and I met the president in Washington. And one of the things, apart from many other things, one of the things she said is we are giving a scholarship for one member of faculty and one student to come to the US and visit universities. Now, how do I get that student? The faculty I know, because they'll be known by their works. How do I get that student? It is your performance. So excellence starts now. We hope to be transformative as Daystarians, starting with the Vice Chancellor, the Chairman of Council, the Chair of Board of Trustees. Every one of us must seek to make a difference. And above all, we must pick the broom. So everybody in this university must pick the broom, because that is who we are, our ethos of servant leadership. Next. What are our urgings as a community? I want, these first years, I want to see students with very strong minds. That's why Walter and Alwa, that team of yours, I'll be monitoring your GPA. And my respect for you will be a function of how you are doing in your studies. Because I've also seen in Daystar, people take leadership for positions and then they forget their purpose. I want you to be strong as my president. Margaret, Desmond, Sylvia, Newton, Maxwell, Meshach, and even Owino. I want you to be strong. Let's take leadership to another level, not arguments about trivials, so that these students can concentrate on their studies. But I want you to have soft hearts. So I want you to be kind to each other. Just like you know I'm firm, but I'm very kind. I would like you to do the same and have those serving hands. I'm not just talking to my student, my DUSA team. I'm talking to everybody in this hall, including our parents. These are our values. I think I won't go through them, but these are the pillars of our character. Trustworthiness. We must trust each other. We must respect each other. I respect every student. That's why when you come to Guteta in my office or to Mary, you want to see the Vice Chancellor, you will see me. Respect is the greatest weapon of holding an organization together. I want all of us to be responsible, to be fair, to be caring, and be good citizens of Daystar. And I want us to never forget our Christ-centeredness. I put there last because it is the base of the pyramid. It is what holds Daystar, Christ-centeredness. I don't know parents who are here and even students, do you think Kenya is a caring society? I don't want answers. And we always talk about matatus, but don't talk about matatus. You go to our parliament. Let's go to parliament. Let's leave the space of matatus and borders. Let's go to parliament. How much respect? How about responsibility? Staki kuguza ile ya kwanza hiyo. Hiyo staki kuguza because mtasema nimeingilia siasa, but me, everybody knows I am political. My politics died with the KANU era. When I used to traverse this country with the late President Moi, because I was the principal of his school, Sunshine, that politics is gone. So I don't even listen to news. Because I don't see these things. You know, this is what I look for. When I don't see it in somebody, then I will not be part of that space. Daystar is struggling against all odds to ensure that those pillars of our character, our values are upheld. I think my heart, next slide, is, and I'm urging everybody as we start this year, I'm going to meet the staff this weekend, this coming weekend or next weekend, a spirit of gentleness. You walk to some organizations, you walk to universities out there, and you see a very strong spirit of gentleness. Parents, this is what we shall struggle to put across to our students. And the next slide, I'll not read it, but gentleness carries the idea of being reasonable. And it does not mean that truth is compromised. No, rather it means that the truth is defended with thoughtful consideration for the other's point of view. You know, I shake, I shiver, I get angry when somebody stands on a podium and there are thousands of people and their thoughts are not taking into consideration the fact that they are talking to a nation called Kenya. We need to teach from kindergarten up to university, up to institutions like parliament, the value of gentleness. Then Kenya will be a better place. Have you gone to Lavington or Runda or, I don't want to mention other areas, but even I see it in Buruburu. The moment you finish a house, the next thing is to put a wall around the house and a gate and a razor wire. Then when you go to other countries, there's no boundary between the house of a neighbor and the 2 neighbors, the 3, the 10 neighbors. It's open. I think this country needs to pray for gentleness, and Daystar, you have a mission to take up that challenge with students who come through us. So the DUSA leadership, I would like you to manifest gentleness in every aspect. The DCF, the Senate of Daystar, the academic board, all of us, let us exhibit gentleness so that our energies are channeled towards helping these young men and women become better than us. Next. This is something that we are also very determined in Daystar. Daystar is driven by emotional intelligence and powered by values. So for me, it's about the messy matters of the heart that will direct the hardware of the brain. Yes. So you must feel for others. You must give hope. You must give optimism. That's why Bwana Chaplain and Damaris, I didn't see, do you know why this meeting was walking in the valley? And you kept on telling people, clap for so and so. Say this. It's because of the pitching. Yeah. It's because of the pitching. If you pitch something very low, Chaplain, you even cut the song. And I was sitting there and wondering. I thought the song says, Mbele nina endelea, ninazidi kutembea, maombi yasikie, Bwana unipa andi, ewe Bwana uninu, kwa imani nisimame, milima yote, ewe Bwana unipa andi. I can go on and on. But by the time I was just getting heated up, it was cut. Now, that is not emotional intelligence. That is being very efficient. That is very high IQ, but not matters of the heart. At Daystar, we shall touch each other's heart, and we shall feel for each other. It doesn't mean we shall not quarrel, we shall differ. But when we do it, we shall do it in a manner that does not hurt that other person. So parents, we have a journey to work on the emotional intelligence of these students. Some people think, you're being utopian. That doesn't happen, it happens. I remember the first 75 students I started with in Sunshine School from 1 as their headmaster. And we went into matters of the heart. The bond between me and those students, you cannot break it now, almost 15, 20 years. When I was launching the book in KICC, they were all there, and we were hugging and crying. Matters of the heart. That's what I would like to see come through Daystar. So, emotions read in the face. You know, there are some universities, look at that first face. This one. Most of the students are like that. They are agitated. They break windows. They go to toilets and they smash toilets. You can't find a toilet roll. They are just agitated. They go to lecture halls, they remove sockets. And yet they are the most intelligent students in the country. So what is missing? They have the hardware, but they don't have the EQ. That is the difference, and that's how I want Daystar to be defined. So for me, I would like Daystar to be like that face, that side, all the time. I don't want to see gloomy faces. I don't want to see people who are too anxious, because then you will not be disciples for the kingdom of Christ. And by the way, recent research now shows, the latest, that the fact that you are bright and you have come to Daystar to do nursing, to do law, to do whatever program, will only contribute 25% to your success in life. Only that the fact that you are bright. But other factors, emotional intelligence now walking towards 41%. Lack, do you know you are already going into university and the results have just come and some students have to wait until August? Do you see how luck plays a chance? which means after 2.5 years, 3 years, if you're working hard, you are through with your studies. And of course, the social class. So, I am asking us to lift our emotional intelligence. And we are not getting into it, but just go to this slide on what am I talking about. Go on, just move the slides quickly. Yeah, there. I am calling for greater self-awareness. And this is not just to the students, it is to all of us. Greater self-awareness. Parents, I want you also to carry that self-awareness, that my daughter or my son or that student I'm supporting is now in university. You must be aware of that fact. And Mbutu is there. He'll give you results instantly. Because in Daystar, when we finish exams, we moderate, we pass through Senate, and they are in the students' portals. You must be aware that a lot of students are going through a lot of struggles. And Daystar, we have had our own share. Last semester, there's a student who disappeared. Up to now, even when I was outside the country, the parent was asking me how far I've followed it with the Commissioner of Police. I'm still following. We have not traced that student. Those things happen. And that means me and you. So when I sat with my team, Martha Kiari, he was from School of Science, we saw one of the reasons that could make this student very distressed is that the performance just went down. But the parent still thinks my boy was bright. That's why government took him to Daystar to study ICT. So self-awareness. Na vijana pia, you must have that self-awareness. You are now getting into your own freedom. Freedom in quotes. How you use it will determine what you become. So wasichana ambao wako hapa, you can choose to not to have self-awareness around yourself, and you become the maid of one of these boys. Sasa wewe ndio unafua weekend yote, wewe ndio unafua nguo. And you are just gingerly washing clothes, ironing them, and then he comes and says, but they are not ironed properly. You start apologizing. I am very sorry, you know, power went off when I was folding the shirt. The boys, lack of self-awareness. Mazee, let's go out. Let's go to the disco, let's go and drink, let's go and do that. I'm saying, Daystar, we have had our own share. The dean is here. The law student, and then we had a student who had issues outside our residences and committed suicide. The parent is a stranger to all these things. So being believers, we must talk the truth. Yes, and so there is need for us to be acutely aware. We in management will do our best, but you people also must do your part. Managing emotions, very important. Motivating ourselves, feeling for each other, resolving conflicts and handling relationships. The students, there is nobody closer to you. I want to repeat this 1,000 times. When I came, I went home and I sat with two of my sons and I was telling them, there is nobody who can be closer to you people other than me and your mother. Nobody. Don't cheat yourself. Some of you, particularly the young men, you become misguided and you say, now this man has been putting a lot of pressure on me, so as I have some freedom, I'll not listen to him, or I'll not listen to my mother. Some of you begin to define your parents. Now you have woken up to tell your parent, your mother, shame on you, you are only a single parent. Yeah. Sasa ndio umejua. I am talking of managing relationships. And at Daystar, we shall go into these fundamentals because we know that is what makes a difference. And I'll be saying, which is your biggest fortress? Scripture and fear of God. Next. I want you to run through that. Let us go to my last slides on the path to servanthood. So the students and the parents also, as we encounter and endure, or all types of encounter and what we endure serves a purpose in God's greater plan. I hope you have prayed with your children that it is not about you choosing Daystar. This is God's blueprint for your child. Yeah. It's not about you having the advantage to bring the child here. This is what God has destined for that child. And so, the path to servanthood, and we like, because you're going through Daystar, we like the majority of these students to walk in that path. And we are not going to read Psalms 89, 19 to 29, but I just want to say this, that the Lord chose David to be his servant and actively prepared him for the calling. If you follow David's life. So I want you also to think and know that this is God's calling for your child and yourself. This is what it is. And by the way, what these young men and women will become, none of us know. None of us know. And the parents whose children did not do very well, it is not that. If you keep hammering at them, words have meaning. Yes, words have meaning. Words are so powerful. KCSE has been done. Results have come. Your child is coming for a diploma, a certificate, or a degree program. Just encourage them. That is the path God has created for them. And you don't know what they will become in life. So, David was a shepherd. And when he was anointed king, he hadn't even been in authority over anything besides sheep. A humble position was the starting place for training to become God's servant as king of Israel. So I want to encourage the students who have come here at an entry level of certificate and diploma. That humble beginning can be your strength. And the ones who have come as undergraduates, coming to a university like Daystar is also your advantage. Take care and submit yourself to the ways of God. And we know David suffered many afflictions on his way to the top, and so will you. But you know, God knew what he was doing, but David trusted God. That is why Scripture is very, very critical, and the fear of God. And we know what King Saul did. And those are tribulations. We can relate them to academic life. Those are tribulations. All this faculty here, professors, by the way, where are the professors of Daystar? Ebu musimame. I had forgotten. If you are a professor in Daystar, ebu simameni tuona, yeah. I want you to make me strong, yes. I think now we have the ones present here are these ones. And we have more than 59, about 60 PhDs, lecturers in Daystar. So in terms of faculty, we are very strong. But the professors, God has put you in that position of privilege. So don't just get mesmerized with the position. Serve in that position. Mentor. Insist on teaching a first-year class so that these young people can imbibe something from you as a professor. I have faith in you, and when you do that, you make Daystar strong, and you also make me very strong. Sit down, please. So as I finish, ladies and gentlemen, the Lord is working in our lives as well, shaping us into his servants. So your hardships, students, parents, setbacks, fees, and everything else have a place in his plan. And he's only using them to train you for what lies ahead. I have seen this in my life over and over and over again. There's a boy, 2 years ago, I was walking around the library, and I found a boy in a uniform. I'm talking about God's plan. And this boy, I asked him, the library is not open. It's not opened. They normally don't open at this time. They open at this time. Okay, so what are you doing here? I'm in charge of security around the library. Then he started taking me around. This is this section of the library. This is where the new books come. This is what happens. By the time he finished with me, I asked him, what is your level of education? And he told me, you know, I was in some school, Kia something in Muranga, and I passed, but I'm a son of a single mother, and so I could not afford to go to university. I am talking about God's plan. I don't know his name. Even if you ask me now, what is his name? I don't know his name. But Daystar management, through me, told that boy, remove that uniform and go to class to do a program in ICT. Yes. And Phyllis knows that is her headache. We have more than 400 students on scholarship who would never have had an education. That's why the VC has to spend 40% of his time out there looking for scholarships for these students. That is God's plan. So I want to encourage everybody that the journey of David into servanthood can act to define your purpose in life. I don't know how many of you have dared to go to Kibera, somewhere called Lindi, Line Saba. Yeah. That's where I grew up myself. With my father who was a driver. I'm not talking about a hero, I'm talking about God's plan. And there was a Nubian lady who had a hotel. And I had to wake up 4 a.m. every morning to make 100 chapatis before I started my journey to Upper Hill, which was a day school. So you can see 100 chapatis every day times 365 days. Even if you had a hard head at getting the skill, that skill will just come automatically of making chapatis. And that's why I rarely eat chapatis, because they never reach the level I would like them to be. Unajua hizo chapati ambazo unararua, zenyewe zinararuka tu. Not like the ones Carol brings me in my office, ngumu sana. It is through that adversity that God lifted me to this level. So it's not about me. That is my wish for every one of you. And I want you to trust Daystar. This is a small intake in May, and you can see we have a big harvest. In August, normally we will not even have space. That's where Daystar is going. So I just want you to see this clip as I finish, and then we shall close the program. Please put it on. And this is the clip I've been using on my fundraising trip in the US. Thank you, Kadenge. Fantastic job. And God has rewarded Kadenge. He's also going to Howard University for his PhD. Yes. Go on.
Welcome to Daystar University's main campus in Athi River, Kenya. This beautiful campus sits on a 300-acre piece of land at the foot of the Lukenya Hills. Welcome to Daystar University's main campus in Athi River, Kenya. This beautiful campus sits on a 300-acre piece of land at the foot of the Lukenya Hills. When two American missionaries, Daystar's vision of creating a distinguished Christ-centered university of choice, transforming the world through a world-class, value-based education, began in 1967 when two American missionaries, Dr. Donald Smith and his wife Faye Smith, together with Dr. Motsoko Feko from Zimbabwe, founded the then Daystar Communications in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe. 7 years later, Daystar Communications would move to Nairobi, Kenya, and later became Daystar University after being awarded its charter in 1994. Professor Stephen Talitwala was appointed as Daystar's first Vice-Chancellor. In March 2019, Professor Laban Airo joined Daystar as its fourth Vice-Chancellor, marking a new dawn at the university. Part of his first activities included the strengthening of a sense of spirituality and values within the Daystar family. Since his arrival at Daystar, Professor Airo has embarked on a number of projects. Among these is the construction of a perimeter wall at the main campus in Athi River. So far, a third of the wall is complete. The idea is to have the whole 300 acres of the campus fenced. The main campus is slowly getting converted from an arid environment to a lush green one, following the ongoing planting of trees, flowers, and grass. Since August 2019, over 10,000 trees have been planted as part of the campus beautification program. This includes indigenous and exotic trees. They are transforming both campuses and creating fresh, relaxing environment for the Daystar community. The goal is to plant about 50,000 trees. Daystar students received a boost for their extracurricular activities when their old fitness center was upgraded into a modern facility following a donation from Jack and Kami Yugster. The center is not limited to the students only, but the entire Daystar family. Apart from that, communication students now have modern digital recording studios after the Valley Road campus saw the construction and installation of equipment for 5 new radio studios. The student-run radio station at the main campus got an equipment upgrade. In total, Daystar now has about 15 studios available for broadcast students. These facilities were made possible following a donation from Dr. John and Marie Mountain Clark in partnership with the University of Northwestern St. Paul. Through a partnership with DevKey, a local steel company, Daystar is now replacing its asbestos roofs with an eco-friendlier aluminium roofing. It is this roofing that was used in the construction of an upcoming poultry unit that is intended for rearing an initial 3,000 chicken. In an effort to seek alternative water supplies, a new borehole at the main campus that was commissioned in January 2020 has ended the water shortage that has been experienced for many years. The solar-powered borehole has a capacity to produce 200 cubic meters of water per day. The main campus now has 2 boreholes, while a recent one has been sunk at the Valley Road campus to mitigate the water shortage there as well. The nursing students are also excited about the construction of their school that is currently underway. The groundbreaking for this project happened on the 18th of January 2022. We thank God for our friends Jack and Kami Yugster for partnering with us on this project. Another one of Professor Airo's dreams is the construction of the School of Theology and Missions. The ground clearing and eventual breaking will be happening soon. The entire Daystar community is grateful to all its partners, particularly the Daystar US Board, and we thank God for transforming Daystar into a center of excellence that will produce servant leaders for the future.
School of Theology and Missions. Something special is coming. And I'm hoping that next month towards the end, I will be again going back to meet the foundation that has a sharp focus on creating a true School of Missions and Theology, complete with a chapel. And so parents go confident that your child is in safe hands. The students who have come to Daystar enjoy the goodness and the fairness in Daystar, and all of us, let's continue praying for this great mission. Thank you and God bless you.
Can we appreciate the Vice Chancellor once again? That is the Vice Chancellor's address, which is a tradition that we keep in welcoming our new students and parents. So you get to know the entire leadership and get to know about us. With that, and having gone round campus since this morning, I believe now you have enough questions to be able to clarify anything we've not answered since morning. And while at that, allow me to recognize the presence of our council member. I know he's here as a parent. He told me, today I'm here as a parent. But Mr. Alan Bokuse, please, if you don't mind, can we appreciate Mr. Bokuse? And that is the confidence we have in ourselves, that we all educate here at Daystar University. So prepare your questions. I want to now be inviting the Dean of Students to please come and facilitate a short Q&A session. Get ready with your question for that, and we shall be then winding down in just a short while. Thank you.
Thank you. We will try to make this as brief as possible. possibly you have a question that you feel needs to be answered here, we'll be giving you that opportunity. But let me race through possibly just about 6 questions that have become quite common every time we have this kind of forum. And I'll give a brief answer to those questions and also direct us to the places where we can get additional responses. Parents have previously asked, can I pay school fees by M-Pesa? The answer is yes. And the pay bill is 209800. 209800, and the account is the student number. Students are given numbers. That's a way of identifying them. Thank you. I had better sound, but you've taken it away from me. That's on a light touch. I know we are going to use that for those that will be asking questions. Another question is medical insurance compulsory? And the answer is yes. We expect every student to have that medical cover. If they have it through their parents, possibly from a private cover or maybe where the parent is working, I think it was clearly stated that we will need that evidence. And for any clarifications regarding medical insurance and whether you can use NHIF, etc., kindly visit our Human Resource Office, and I'll still ask the Chief Manager, Human Resource, to stand and just wave. If you talk to him, you will get the clarifications that you require regarding that. Another question is chapel mandatory? And the answer is yes, it is expected that everybody at Daystar, staff, faculty, and students attend chapel. For any more clarifications, the Office of the University Chaplain will respond to that. Number 4, do we have off-campus hostels? The answer is yes, but we encourage students to live on campus because we have better facilities here. And just to let you know, we frisk the students as they get on campus, just to be sure nobody's bringing stuff that is not allowed. And the latest they will be allowed to go out or come in is 11 p.m. And so we are careful about that. Thank you for those claps. I wish I had more. We are keen on monitoring what is happening, and we also informed you that we don't share hostels, ladies and men. If it is for ladies, it is for ladies. If it is for men, it is for men. And we have guards at the entrance to make sure those who are coming in are ladies, those who are coming in are men. Number 5, do we have games at Daystar? Masiga, you're here. Please, can you quickly take that mic to him? Do we have games at Daystar? Quickly, can you race through? You may not be able to mention everything, but can you say something about that? Yeah, Masiga is the officer in charge of sports and recreation.
Good afternoon, y'all. We have more than 15 disciplines, meaning different sport and games that your sons and daughters will be involved in, and they're very competitive. Currently, the most competitive team sport is rugby. And if you have a son or even a daughter who plays rugby, then you're in very good hands. Because our rugby team is soaring high, and in fact, this coming season, they will be playing in the next league, which is championship, and they will be able to play against teams in Mombasa, Kakamega, Kisumu, Nakuru, and they're carrying the Daystar Falcons very high. And we do have some that don't play ball games like, soccer, basketball, volleyball, hockey, but prefer to play board games like chess, Scrabble, Monopoly, and they're doing very well in that too. We compete in the Kenya University Sports Association leagues, mostly around Nairobi, and sometimes we go for tournaments that are held in different parts of the country, and even beyond Kenya. We've been to Dar es Salaam a few years ago. We've been to Kampala. We've been to just outside of Busia, Uganda, where we've done very well. So you're welcome to encourage your sons and daughters to participate in the different disciplines that we have in the Sport and Recreation Department.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's appreciate Mr. Morris. And we have some of our students who are playing rugby who have joined the national team, the under 20, I believe. Yeah, so, and of course, other sports are doing very, very well. The last question, how do you handle disciplinary cases? Of course, like in any family, we have discipline issues occasionally, and we have a committee that deals with that. It is chaired by our DVC academics, research and student affairs, and we have the legal manager present when we sit for those disciplinary cases. Students are also allowed to come with their parents if they so choose. But we try to help our students as much as possible to deal with their issues. Those that go beyond and must come to disciplinary, then they come and the verdicts are pronounced. For some, it may be they have to go home for a semester or two. And so we want to work together for the parents. Please encourage your students. Daystar is a drugs-free zone, so when we catch students trying to use drugs or to sell drugs or even give others for free, that is taken very, very seriously. And it is also good for our students to hear that. We have a dress code that they must adhere to, and when they break that, we will try again to advise them. Unless it is persistent, they may not come home because of that. Now, we open this opportunity for other questions, possibly just about 10 minutes of your time. If you raise your hand, please say your name, and then you can give us your question, and there'll be somebody to respond to that. Going once, there's a hand there. Please tell us your name and what your son or daughter is coming to study, and then you can give your question.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
My name is Ibrahim, and I've come here to admit my son, Ryan Ibrahim, who is present here at the moment. Now my question is, during the forum, the finance department said during the first semester, we have to pay in full. Now my question was, can't we be given like some time off or what, like?
Since graduating its first diploma class in 1976, Daystar University has trained for 42 African nations. That makes over 80% of Africa represented at Daystar University. With close to 100 course specializations available from certificate, diploma, undergraduate, masters and PhD, Daystar University gives you the best bargain for value-based education. Apply today for our January intake. Call us or simply WhatsApp us via 0716 170 313 or email us at